Okay, so here I am. I'm going to finish section 6.3, do a few more examples for you on this. Okay, so the method we're showing, step 1, is to multiply the front to the back. So that'll be x squared plus 155x plus, and then what is 14 times 11, whatever that is. Just erase that and figure it out on my calculator. It is 154. Okay, that's step 1. Front times back. Okay, now, step 2, we do the diamond thing. So we put the, kind of running out of room here, put the 154 here, the 155 there, and we're finding two numbers that multiply to be 154, add to be 155. So that'd be 1 and 154. They multiply to be 154, add to be 155. So that's my pair of numbers, x plus 1, x plus 154. Now, the fourth step is kind of tricky. So just like on step 1, we took the front times the back, step 4, we divide the backs by the front. So you take this guy and you divide by the front. What was the front? 14. And this guy by 14. And reduce. So now we reduce. Now I'm wondering, how does this one reduce? Is 154 divisible by 14? Yeah, this is 11. And you calculate 154. So this, and now this guy is not reducible. So what do? The 14 just goes right there. So it becomes 14x plus 1. This one is x plus 11, right? Because that became 11. And we're done. That's how you factor it. Everybody understand that last step? You reduce, right? You reduce if possible. And this was able to be reduced. 154 divided by 14 is 11. So that just became 11. But 1/14 is not reducible, so when they're not reducible, the 14 jumps to the front. There it is. 14x plus 1 times x plus 11. Let's try another one. Okay, so now we're on number 6. So in fact, I'm just going to rewrite it on a fresh screen here. So number 6, minus 8x plus 5x squared minus 13. Okay. So first we got to reorder them. Put this guy in the front. 5x squared minus x minus 13. So reorder. Next, step 1, you go front times the back. Oops. Front times back. Okay, so that becomes x squared minus 8x minus 65. Factor with the diamond, so minus 65 minus 8. We're looking for two numbers that multiply to be minus 65, add to be 8. That'd be 5 times 13. Just use your calculator if you're not sure. 5 times 13 is 65. Remember, whatever sign is in the bottom goes to the bigger, bottom bigger. So the 13 is the bigger, right? So the sign on the bottom, which is negative, goes to the bigger, which is the 13. So 5 and minus 13 multiply to be negative 65, add to be negative 8. So it takes me over to step 2. It's going to be x plus 5, x minus 13. And now, what do I do at this point? Now you, step 3, divide by the fronts. So what was in the front? The 5. So you divide by 5, and reduce whatever can be reduced. So you can see this one is going to become x plus 1. This one's not reducible. 13 doesn't divide by 5, so the 5 will go right there. 5x minus 13. There we go. It's factored. Okay, let's try number 9 now. Here it is. Let me rewrite it on a new screen. So number 9, 28x cubed plus 51, so, whoops. 28x cubed plus 51x squared plus 11x. Okay, first step on this one. Remember, the first, you've got to do the GCF with one big principal. Remember, when the 3 all have something in common, you got to do that first. So take out an x. That leaves 28x squared plus 51x plus 11. Right? I took out that x that they all had in common. That's always first. Taking out what's in common to all the terms is always first. Now we go into the regular stuff. Take the front and multiply the back. So that'll be step 1 in our normal process. Front times back. And what about that x? That x is just going to stay. This x is going to stay in the front. This x right here stays in the front. Front times the back, so we have x squared plus 51x. 128 times 11. What is that? 308. Use your calculator, I just did. 308. Step 2, we go to the diamond. We put the 308 here. 51 there. We're looking for what multiplies to be 308, adds 51. I have no idea. So I'm going to take 308 on my calculator and just start dividing by things. I don't know, like 8 maybe? What is that? No, it comes out a decimal. Let me try 4. And what happens with that? Divide by 4 and I got 77. Could it be 4 and 77? No way, they don't make 51. So, I don't know. It wasn't 8. Maybe, just got to try the numbers. So if you're not sure, so I would just try 4, 5, 6. 5 doesn't even work. No. 6, I don't think even divides nice. No. Comes out a decimal. Use your calculator. Divide by 7 and you get 44. And you go, could it be that person? See what I'm doing? I'm just taking the 308. And I'm dividing by 4, 5, 6, 7, just trying some numbers, and I found 7 and 4. The other ones came out decimals and things that don't work. I got 7 and 44. Yeah, that makes 51. That's my pair of numbers. Everybody see how I did that? Now, bring it up here. So, we're on step 3. That x is still in the front. X in the front. Now we have x plus 7, x plus 44. And what do we do to finish this up? Divide the fronts by the original, divide backs by the original front. What was the original front? 28. Divide by 28, divide by 28, and reduce. So that's going to be x times x plus a fourth. And that's x plus, now how does 44 over 28 reduce? Divide top and bottom by 4, you'll get 11 sevenths. Everybody see that? I reduced both those fractions as far as they would reduce. Divided top and bottom by 7 on the first one. Right, I divided by 7 and divided by 4. And now, the last part, this part goes up, this part goes up. So it's going to be x. Oh boy, I'm running out of room and everything else. Let me see here. The final answer then we're looking at, it's going to be x in the front, 4x plus 1, 7x plus 11. There it is. Is that good on that? All right, so that one's kind of tricky. Okay, so here's number 15. Now, what's the first step on every factoring problem? First, take out GCF, one big parenthesis, right? So what goes in, before you do any front times the back or any of that other stuff, take out what's in common, do all three terms. What goes into all three of those? 5 and y. with a one big parenthesis. 5 goes into all those numbers, and they all have a y. Take the lowest power, y to the first. So what does that leave? 2y squared, because 5y times 2y squared, right? Out front numbers multiply, powers add. That would go back to 10y cubed, minus 5y times y. The one power would add to be 5y squared. And 5y times minus 6 would be minus 30y. So we got that? Okay, so that's step 1. Well, that's always the first step, is take out the GCF. Now we go into step 1 where we do the front times the back. Whoop, I'm sorry, that's not the front, is it? That 5y is just out in front. We're not going to do anything with that. The front is the 2 now. 2 times minus 6. So we get y squared minus y minus 12. So the front means the front for the 3 inner terms. So 2 times 6 is 12. And then you factor that with the diamond thing. And so that's going to be minus 12. And this is a minus 1. What are two numbers that multiply to be minus 12, add to be minus 1? That'd be 3 and 4. The sign in the bottom goes on the bigger. Bottom bigger, BB. So bottom bigger. The 4 is bigger than the 3. So the sign in the bottom, the negative, goes on the bigger, the 4. Negative 4 times 3 is negative 12. Adds to be negative 1. So step 2 then is we have the 5y still in the front. And y plus 3, y minus 4. But now, what do we do on step 3? We divide by the front. And what do we mean by front? It's funny, we have different words for front now. We still mean this front, the front of the trio, the front of the trinomial, not the 5y. The 5y is not going anywhere. That's just the very, very front, just staying there. Okay, so we divide. So I take this y plus 3 and I make it y plus 3 over 2, because that 2 is the front. And the y minus 4 is my minus 4 over 2, because again the 2 is the front. Then reduce. Divided by the front, reduce. So that means this will be y minus 2. This reduces. 4 divided by 2 is 2. And anything that doesn't reduce, it jumps up. Boom, goes right there. 5y, 2y plus 3, y minus 2. There it is. There's the factorization of that one. It's a tougher one, number 15. Okay, so here is number 16. The trick on this one, minus in the front. What do we do? Whoops, I'm kind of messing with the screen here. What do we do when we have a minus in the front? The front, we factor out minus 1, 1 big parenthesis, all signs change. So I'm going to put a minus 1. Now, there's nothing else in common. They don't all have a number or an x. So just the minus 1. If there was anything else in common, if like 2 or 3 went into all of them, I would take that out also. If they all had an x, I would take that out. But there's nothing in common other than the minus 1. That goes 15x squared minus 44x plus 21. You see, because that minus 1 could go boom, 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 and it would go back the way it was before. So we factor out a minus 1, 1 big parenthesis, all signs change. Now from here, we just do the regular. What does the regular mean? Step 1, front times the back. And that minus 1 that's in the very, very front, that'll just stay there all the way to the end of the problem. So this 15 multiplies the 21 in the back. Minus 1 sits there. Whoops, 15 is gone from the front. We have x squared minus 44x. And use your calculator. What in the world is 15 times 21? 315. Now we've got to do our diamond thing. 315. We're looking for numbers that multiply. I'll do it like this. For what multiplies to be 315 adds to be minus 44. So what times what is 315? I do not know at all. I would just take my calculator, take 315, start dividing by things, I don't know, like 5, 6, 7. I do not. I'm just going to start trying, see what happens. Divided by 5 would be 63. Can 5 and 63 somehow make the 44? No way. Divide by the 6. I'm getting a decimal. No way. Can't be a decimal. 315 divided by 7, 45. 7 and 45. No. No, they can't do it. They can't. What I mean is if you put 7 and 45, there's no way they could make minus 44 by adding or subtracting. So you got to keep going. Divide by 8. No, I got a decimal. Divide by 9. 9 and 35. There it is. 9 and 35. Both negative make minus 44, don't they? And they multiply. Two negatives multiply to be positive 315. So that's exactly it. That was kind of a tricky one. So again, what did I do? I just take the multiply number, the 315, and just start dividing by things until I get a pair that can also make the minus 44. Both negative. If you lose $9 and lose $35, you lost $44. And the two negatives multiply to be positive. So there's my numbers. Let me get this out of the way now. So there's my numbers I found by dividing. So what does that give me? The minus 1 still in the front. X minus 9 and x minus 35, right? Minus 9 minus 35. But now we divide the front, or divide by the front, which, what's in the front? What was it? 15. So I divide by 15, divide by 15, reduce those. So what's that going to be here? It's going to be minus 1. Reduce 9/15 divided by 3, it'd be 3/5. Reduce 30, if I divide this one top and bottom by 5, This one I divided by 3. By 5 you get what? 7/3. And then you know the deal. Jump this here, jump that there. And we have minus 1, 5x minus 3, 3x minus 7. That's a 7 there. There it is. We factored it. That was a hard one. So again, on this one, it was the special unique characteristic of this one was there was a minus sign in the front. When you have a minus in the front, we had to factor out a -1 from the beginning with one big parenthesis and all signs changed. There was our minus 1. All the sign changed. And from there, it was regular. Okay, let's try another one. Okay, so here we go. Number 19, the last one. This one looks tough. Right off the bat, first thing you're supposed to do is what's in common. What number does 2 go into all those? No, 2 doesn't go into 85. Does 7? No. Does 3? No. There's no number in common. Okay. What letters do they all have? Do they all have an A? Yeah. Take the lowest one, regular A. Do they all have a B? No. Just the last two. Okay. So the GCF, which is always first, take out what's in common, A. That leaves 14A to the 4th. Because it's A to the 1st, right? Powers will add to go back. Plus 85 a squared b squared plus 6 b to the 4th. So that's the first step. It's funny, those numbers have nothing in common. All right, now let's go to the usual steps. Step number 1, front times back. Front times back. So grab this front and multiply that back. Leave the a in the front. So you get a to the 4th plus 85 a squared b squared plus 6 times 14 is what? 60 and 24, 84. B to the 4th. Okay, and now step 2. We do our diamond thing. We put the 84 up here, multiply, put the 85 down here, add. What two numbers multiply to be 84? 1 times 84, and they add to be 85, so that's it, 1 and 84. Let me bring it up here. And, okay, so now this A in the front just stays there, and I get, now what do I get? For A to the 4th, that means I get A squared plus 1. Oh, and there's B to the 4th at the back. So that means it's going to be A squared plus 1B squared. And A squared, whoops, I'm kind of running out of room here. Try this again. The A's in the front. and let me just put the letters in place. If we have a to the fourth on the left, that means a squared is in the left of each parenthesis. If we have b to the fourth on the right, that means b squared is in the right of each parenthesis. And the numbers on the rights are 1 and 84. Plus 1, 84. Okay, plus 1 plus 84. And now, you know what we do? We divide. What do we divide by? Whatever number was in the front. 14. Divide by 14. Divide by 14. Divide by front. And reduce. So divide by that number that was in the front before we did the front times the back. So we do that at the end, right? We get rid of the front in the beginning, multiply the back, and then we divide it at the end. So, and then reduce. Now is 84 divisible by 14? I believe it is. This right here, this is 6. So I get a squared plus 1/14 b squared, a squared plus 6b squared. And last step, that 14 is going to go where he always goes. 14a squared plus 1b squared, a squared plus 6b squared. There it is. All right, that's the end of that section, section 6.3.